Hello viewers, welcome back to this course. In this section, we are going to learn how to prepare our application for production. We are going to deploy our application to render and implement a strategy to prevent their free service from going to sleep due to inactivity. We are going to start by pushing our code to GitHub, connect it to render, and deploy our API from GitHub to render server so that the public can have access to our API. The first thing you need to do is to create environment variable. We have already have .env file here. If you click on it, you are going to see we have the port. The port is not needed in production, but I'm going to allow it here. And also here you can be able to add any environment variable in case if you want to scale this project, guys. For example, if you want to scale it to add authentication, you can put environment variable if needed into this file. All right, then after the environment variable, you need to create another file called .gitignore. Let me create it. You need to call it like this, .gitignore. So the file name must be like this, .gitignore. This .gitignore is where you are going to place the files and folders that you don't want to push to Git repo. Any file and folders that you don't want to put into the Git repository, you need to put that file and folders name here. The first one we need to put here is the Node module. The Node module contains all the library and packages that we install through npm, and you don't need to push these packages into GitHub. As a result, you need to add Node modules folder here. So you just type Node module. So node_modules is the name of this folder we have here. You can see it here. It is the name we just type here. We don't want to push this folder into Git repo. If you expand it, you can see there is a lot of files here. As a result, you don't need to push it into Git repo. Okay. The next one we have here is our database folder. Remember, our database is created automatically when we launch our application. We don't want to push this database folder into the Git repo because the server will create it automatically. Remember, when we were defining the function to create our database, it will be created automatically. As a result, you don't need to push this database into Git repo. I'm going to add it, database. Okay, so I just named this database folder. This is the folder that contains our database. We don't want to put it into the Git repo. That's why I type it here. So any other folder that contains the files or folders you don't want to push into Git repo, you can add it here. Another file we don't want to push into the Git repo is .env. This file contains environment variable, so we don't want to push it into Git repo. So as a result, I'm going to add .env like this. This is how to add folders or files that you don't want to push into Git repo. All right, let me save it now. Let's go to package.json. Remember to add the start script here. So this one is going to run on the server, this start script, and this one is the one we are using for development. All right, so this node app.js is going to run on the server using this start script. Okay, you can also change the main entry file here. Here it is using index.js. Since our entry point is app.js, I can equally change it here. So I can just change this one to app.js like this. Okay, that is our main entry point, and that is what we are also running here. Can equally remove this test script since we don't need it. Then remove the comma and save it. The next thing we need to do is to initialize our project as a Git repo. Okay, I'm going to open the terminal. For you to follow this step, you need to install GitHub. I have already shown you in the introductory part of this course where to download Git Desktop and install it. Once you install GitHub Desktop on your system, you can follow this step. Then what you need to do, if you want to know the Git status of your project, you type Git status. git status like this. If I press enter now, you can see fat are not a git repository or any of the parent directory. So it means that our project has not been initialized as a git repository. So to initialize our project as a git repository, what we need to do is to just type git init. Okay, this is the command you need to type, guys. Git init. If I press enter now, you can see initializing empty git repository. You can see that it is not tracking our files except those one we added in .git ignore. You can see the folders and the files we added in .git ignore, they are grayed out because we added it in .git ignore. It means it will not be tracked. All right. If I check the git status now, git status, let's see what we have. Okay, you can see no commit yet, but on track files, these are the files that will be committed into the git repo. Okay, to add these files, you can see use git add to add the files. Okay, all this one in red. So what I'm going to do is to type git add dot. The git add dot is going to add all the files we want to track. Okay, so I'm going to press enter now. It has been added. The next thing is to commit our project. We type git commit. The commit message is going to be initial commit. This is the command to commit your project. Git commit -m mean the message. Okay, so the commit message is initial commit. That is what we type in the quote. Then let me press enter now. Okay, it has been committed. It has been committed now. So now we need to push this into GitHub. So okay, the next thing we need to do now is to push our project into GitHub. And to do that, I'm going to open a browser. So you need to visit github.com. If you have not created an account, you can follow the step to create an account. And after successful creating an account or logging in, you can be able to see your dashboard. You can click on the new button here to create a new repository, or you can see this plus here, create new. When you click on it, you are going to see new repository. Okay, so you just click on it. You can see create a new repository. You need to give your repository a name, guys. You need to give a name, guys. So I'm going to name it blog post API. Okay, so this is the name I give it. You can give your own any name, guys. Blog post API. Then you can add description. It is optional. Then let me click on create a repository. The new repository has been created, and you can see these commands here. Quick setup. If you have done this kind of thing before, you can see what it is saying here. But our major concern now is push an existing repository from the command line. This is because we have already initialized our project to be a Git repository. We just need to push it. Okay, let me just copy the command by clicking on this copy icon here. So I copy everything. So just this command we have here. Okay, let's go back to our terminal. So I'm going to right click to paste the command. I right click to paste the command. You can see the command we copied. Okay, so let me press enter now. So our command has been executed. So it means that this our project has been pushed into GitHub. So let's go back to the browser. Let me refresh this page. You can see our project has been pushed to GitHub, and from here you can see that the files and folders we added to .git ignore, they are not pushed into the Git repo. So there is no node modules, there is no database folder, and .env file is not pushed here. You can also create add readme file, guys, for your documentation. If you want to add documentation, you can put it under the readme file. Okay, so let's create one in our project. I go back. Let me create a new file. I'm going to name it readme.md. Is a markdown file, guys. readme.md like this. It's a markdown file. Let me just press enter. So this is where you are going to add your instruction and documentation. I have sample documentation. This is just a basic documentation. Okay, let me save it. Since we have added the readme file, let me push it back to Git repo. I type git add dot git commit -m. So our message now is going to be added readme. Okay, the commit message is added readme.md. Let me press enter. I type git push. Okay, I type git push. Let me press enter. So our project has been pushed to the Git repo. Let's go back to the browser. Let me refresh it. You can see our repo has been updated and the readme file has been added, and you can see the basic documentation from the readme file here. Alright, this is how to push our app to Git repository. In the next video, we are going to learn how to host our app in Render server. Thank you for watching. Welcome back, guys. Now that we have already pushed our app to Git repository, we need to go to the render.com. I open a new tab. I'm going to type render. Just type render hosting. You need to select render.com. Click on sign in. The best and recommended way to sign in is to use GitHub. Okay, you need to sign in with your GitHub account. So I'm going to select GitHub here. Okay, I select it. If it is the first time you are logging with the GitHub, you are going to authorize your GitHub to access render.com. Okay, so you just follow the step and authorize it, and you are going to see this dashboard here. If you have not created any project, you will not see any project here. So what you need to do here is to click on add new. You can see add new here. You just click on it and you can see web service. Okay, that is our major concern now. You select web service. Because you have already logged in with your GitHub account, you are going to see all your repo here. Okay, this is the one we created last time, blog post API. You can see it and you can see it listed here. So I'm going to select it. Here you can fill the required information. So I'm going to allow blog post API, but you can change this name. You can change it to anything you like. Okay, under the language we are using Node.js. Okay, so you select Node.js, and our branch you have to select the main, because our project is in the main branch of the GitHub. You can see it here, main branch. So you need to select main. Okay, the region will be automatically selected for you. All right, if your app is in the source folder, you can type it here, but since our app is in the main folder, in the main root, so you don't need to pass anything here. If your project is in different folder, you can just type the name of the directory here. All right, build command. The build command is npm install. This is the code that we run to install all the npm packages. That is the build command. Okay, when you clone the repo, for example, if someone cloned this repository, that person need to run npm install to install all the packages and run the application. That is exactly what it is doing here, npm install, and that is the build command. So you need to allow it. Then start command. Our start command is node app.js, but since we have a start script, remember that our project have start script. Let me show you. Remember, if you go to package.json, we have already added start script. Okay, so what you need to do here, let me go back to the render. What you need to do, our start script is going to be that the start command. You can just type npm run start. Okay, if you don't want to put npm run start, you can just put npm start. So that is the default for node application. Npm start will run the start script just like this. Since we are using the free type, you need to select it here. Instance type is free, so you have 512 MB RAM. So for the free plan is okay. Then our environment variable, if you have environment variable, you are going to add it here. In our application, you can see that in environment variable, we have only the port. Okay, so and in the render.js, this port is not required. So as a result, I'm not going to add it. For now, there is no environment variable to add here. But if you have environment variable you have already set up that you are using in your application for production, you can actually add it here. Okay. The port variable we have here is for development, guys. So I'm not going to add it here. After setting up, you need to click deploy web service. Just click on this one, web service, and it is deploying. So it is deploying. You can follow the log here to see the progress of deployment. Build successful. You can see deploying. Okay, server running. Okay, you can see that the deployment has finished, guys. Server running on port. Server running, you can see it is running on port 10,000. So you can see the new port has been assigned, and you can see your service is live and there is no error. There is no error. Now you can see this link, guys. You can see this link here. For you to view your API, you need to click on this link. So let me just open it in a new tab. Okay, it is opening. And you can see now it is serving the data from our server, guys. It is serving the data from render server. Okay, our application is running on render server. As you can see, server is running. Although we still have a dummy data, I'm going to remove it later. But if I go to /post now, if I go to /post, okay, it will return a blank post and we get success message. This is because we have not added any post, guys. Okay, now we actually have empty posts. Okay, and if I try to get a single post, which we don't have, so if I add /1 here, we are going to see that, okay, post not found, everything is working. Let's open Postman, guys. I'm going to open Postman so that we can test this our server. I'm going to open Postman. Okay, this is Postman. Let me copy this URL here. Then go to Postman. Okay, let me create a new request here. Then paste it. Since we don't have a post, let's make a post request. Let's go to post request. I change it to post. Then open the body. The body have nothing. I'm going to select raw, select JSON. Let's add a JSON data, guys. I'm going to add a title for our post. Title. Let me paste a sample data here. Okay, title sample post. Let me just change this content to testing live API. So I can change the title to sample post testing live API. The author is Doe, and the category, let's change the category to test. If we did not add the author, let me remove the author, guys. Let's send the post request. Okay, success first enter all the required field and it is coming from the live server. Let me add the author. If I remove the title, let me remove the title, send the request. We have the same message, guys. Then let me add the title. Let me send the request now. A new post was created, guys, and we have one post that has been created. Let's add another post. Let me make it to be 2. Let me change this one to 2. Let's change the author to Jane, and the category to be test as well. Let me make another post request. Wow, another post was created, guys. And if I make a get request, let me make a get request to get all the posts, send it, and you can see now we have 2 posts. Both the created art and the updated art was added automatically. As you can see, each of these posts is now having a created ad and updated ad added automatically. All right. Let's try a put request, guys. Let me change it to put request. Since we have two posts now, let's update post number 2. So I'm going to add /2 here. Then let's change this 2 to 2 like this. And likewise, I can update this 2 to be 2 like this. Okay, I updated post number 2. Let me make a put request to the same server, guys, /2. Let me send the request. Okay, there is no error. You can see success to be true. The post was updated and it returned the new post that was updated. If I get all the posts now, let's get all the posts. Let me remove the 2, get all the posts. You can see that the post number 2 has been updated now. You can see the title and the content has been updated. All right. So let's try to make a delete request. I select delete and I'm going to delete post number 1. Then remember, I don't need to send any data. So I only send the ID through the params. Okay. So now I'm making a delete request. You can see I change it to delete. Let me send it. Okay, success true. Post with ID number 1 deleted successfully. And if I try to get all the posts now, send the request, and now we have only 1 post remaining. Okay, post with ID of 2. You can see our live server is running correctly, guys. Let me go to the render.com. I open the browser. Let's go back to the render.com. You can see this message here, guys. Your free instance will spin down with inactivity, which can delay requests by 50 seconds or more. What it means is that on the free tie, render spin down your service after a period of inactivity, which is approximately 15 minutes. It means that if no request is made to your server within 15 minutes time, it is going to temporarily shut down your service. Okay, that is what it means. And when you make a request to the server after 15 minutes, it is going to take like 50 seconds to wake up the service again. And based on my experience, I discovered that sometimes it takes up to 1 to 2 minutes to actually wake up your service back. I also discovered based on my experience that when it is waking up your service, it is going to rebuild your project. Okay, it is going to rebuild and redeploy your project, and as a result, any data you save in your database, which is in our own case we are using embedded database, it is going to redeploy and wipe your data. But if you are using MongoDB or external database, you don't have problem. You can just make a request and all your data will return back. But if you are using embedded database like SQLite, remember we are using SQLite as our database, which is embedded into our application. So you are going to lose all your data when you make a request after 15 minutes. Okay, so to solve this problem, guys, we are going to learn how to create a cron job to solve this problem, and this cron job is going to keep our application awake all the time without going to sleep mode. Okay, so that is what we are going to learn how to do in this video. For you people to understand what this message means here, okay, for you to understand it better, guys, we are going to illustrate it for you so that you will understand what it means. Because you are using free tie, you are going to see your free instance will spin down with inactivity, which can delay requests by 50 seconds or more. After deploying our project, I have allowed it more than 24 hours so that you can see this in practical form. Let me go to Postman. Remember that we added 2 posts and we deleted one. So I'm going to make a GET request our URL. So this URL is actually coming from the server, that is the deploy server, where we deploy. If you go to the browser, this is the URL here. You can see it here. So let's go back to Postman. I'm trying to get all the posts. We added 2 posts and deleted one. So let's see if after 24 hours whether the posts we left will still be there. Let me make a GET request to get all the posts and see if all the posts will be fetched. Okay guys, you can see it is taking time. It is taking time, guys. It takes some time to get this request, as you can see it here. I made the request to get all the posts. We added 2 posts when we deploy our application and deleted one. We're supposed to get 1 post now after 24 hours. You can see that it is returning this post, this blank post, okay? It means that this inactivity is actually affecting our server. This inactivity is not affecting our server in the sense that when I make a request now, it will redeploy the application before we were able to get this result. To solve this problem now, we need to add a cron job to our application so that it will keep it awake. Okay, and that is exactly what we will be doing right now. Let's go back to the browser, open a new tab. Let me type npm cron job, npm cron, press enter, go here. Okay, you can see this npm package called Cron. You can see the weekly download, over 3 million download weekly. You can see that a cron is a robust tool for running jobs, functions, or command on schedules defined using the cron syntax, perfect for tasks like data backups, notifications, and many more. You can read the features here, okay? Then you can also go through the features and basic usage, all right? If you want to learn more about the cron syntax, you need to go through the documentation and read about it here. To keep things simple, let's go back to our application and implement it. Let me copy this installation command, go back to our application. Okay, let me paste the command npm install cron. So the I mean install. You can type install or just npm install cron. Press enter. Installation successful. The installation has finished. If you go to package.json, you are going to see cron now. This is the cron. I'm going to create a new folder. Let me call it utils. You can call your own anything, utils. I just call it utils so that any utility function or helper function that our app may need, we need to put it here, okay, so that we can keep our app organized. Let me press enter. Inside the util folder, I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call it cron.js. You can call this file anything, guys. I just call it cron.js. Press enter. Let me import cron job. Import cron job from cron job like this. This cron job is a class, okay? I've written the code, guys. I'm going to paste it here and go through it. Okay, this is what I have, guys. I have a comment here. You can see we initialize a new job because this cron job is a constructor. It is a class, okay? So, and we need to pass the time interval. So this is the syntax. If you go to the documentation of the cron, if you go to the documentation, you can see the basic usage here, guys. Okay, you can see the import and the basic usage. You can see the import and the basic usage. Okay, you can just go through it, but let's go back and implement our logics Here you can see we are passing the time interval. We want this job to run every 14 minutes. That is what this time interval means here. Okay. Then after the time interval, you need to pass a callback. You can see we pass a callback. So that is, you separate the first argument with comma, then the callback. The callback will make it to be a sync function because we are going to use await. Okay. So inside the callback body, we declare a variable. You can see this variable that just contain the URL. So we are using process.env.render URL. This render URL, we are going to add it in the environment variable, okay, .env file. Let me just copy this name here, render URL. Let's go to the .env. Let me just paste it. The value of this render URL is going to be the URL from our render server. You go to the render server, this URL here, you can just copy it here. Just copy it. Then go back to our app. Then I just paste it here. So this is our base URL. This base URL is where we want our job to be making a request to. Remember, if we go to the base URL, let me go to the postman. If I remove this slash post and go to the base URL, let me just send the request. Okay, I don't have internet connection. Let me just connect to internet. Okay, I have already connected. Let me make the request again. Okay, this is what we are getting from our base URL. Okay, this we are going to modify it later, but this is what we are serving from our base URL. This is what we are getting when you visit the base URL. That is exactly what we are adding here. That is exactly what we are adding here. From the cron, this process.env.render URL is also giving us that URL. Okay. So if the URL is not available, we're just going to have a local host. This local host is not needed in production. Okay, I can remove this. I can remove this in production. We don't actually need it. After we get the base URL, we are now making use of fetch API to make requests to this URL. So it is a normal fetch request you do, guys. It's a normal fetch API we use to make requests. We are just making a get request to this URL. Here we have a response and we await response.json. If there is successful request, we are going to have this message log in our server. Okay, Cron Job executed successfully. Can also log the data. If you need it, can log it. If there is error, we are going to console.error executing cron job, and we also log the error as well. You can see it is a basic fetch API request, guys, and we are just running it every 40 minutes. Let's export this job. I'm going to say export default job like this. So we have already written our job and exported it. Let's go back to app.js. Let me just add a comment, cron job, called the cron job. You need to import it. So let me just import it. This is it here. It is imported from utils folder /cron.js. This job has a method called start. So you need to call the start method like this. You just call it like this. You can also check the node environment if it is in production. If it is in production, you can call this function, okay, so that it will not run in development. If you want to check if you are in the production, what you need to do, let me just copy this. You type if process.env.node environment node underscore environment env like this. You check if it is equals to production, then you execute job.start like this. Okay, this is going to be production when you deploy this to the server. This node environment, you can add it as environment variable. So let me go to .env and add it. Let me just add it and equals to development. So when it is running locally, it is going to be development. So this job will not run. In development, this code will not execute because we added node environment to be development. Okay, just like this, we have already set cron job, guys. Let's push our code to GitHub. I type git add dot git commit. Then the commit message is going to be added cron job, added cron job. Press enter. Then I type git push. Okay, it's pushing it to the GitHub. Okay, it is done. If I go to the browser now and go to GitHub, if I refresh this page, bad internet, it is connected but I can't access the site. Okay, you can see the update we did. Okay, added cron job 1 minute ago. If I go to the render server, if I go to the dashboard, you can see that our app has been redeployed. Okay, 1 minute ago, it has been redeployed. Anytime you make a change and push your code to the GitHub, it is going to be redeployed. Okay, if I open our app now, it has been redeployed. As you can see, the updated message here after the last modification. You can see added cron job that is shown on the server. Now, if I go to the postman now, let's go back to the postman. I open a postman. Let's make a request to the URL. Okay, our server is running. There is no error. Let's do a post request. I'm going to change this one to post so that we can add a new post. I go to the body, select raw, then select JSON. Then here we are going to add a new post. I have a dummy data already. Instead of typing it, I will just copy it and paste it here. So let me just paste a sample JSON data here. Okay. So we are just creating a new post, and our post require title, content, author, and category. Though category is optional, you can remove the category if you don't need it. So let's make a post requires to /post. Okay, it should be /post like this. Let me send the request. You can see that the new post has been added, and you can see we have ID of 1 and it returned the new post. So let me copy another post so that we can add another post. Let me just remove this one, add this one. Okay, this is another post. Let me send it. Okay, it is created. You can see post with the ID of 2. It is added. Okay, let me add another one. So I added another one. Let's send the request. We have added 3 posts. Let's make a get request now. I change it to get, send the request. Now we have 3 posts added, guys. We added 3 posts. We can modify each of these posts. Let's make a put request. I'm going to change it to put. Then let's modify the one with ID of 2 like this. So I just added ID of 2. Let me just copy the content of the post of ID of 2 like this. Let me replace it. Let me just add updated. Let me change the content to test. This is the new update for post with ID of 2. Let me send the put request. Okay, there is no error. Success true. You can see the new title updated was appended to it. You can see it return it. The content is now test. Let me get all the posts. If I get all the posts now, let me send the request. Okay, I just get the one with ID of 2 because we added 2 here. Okay, so you can see that it has been added. And if I get all the posts, we are going to have all our 3 posts. Okay, here we have it. And the post with ID of 3 has been updated. And all these data, they are now coming from the database. So let's make a delete request, guys. Let's delete the post with ID of 2. Let's just delete it. I add 2 here. And when you are making a delete request, you don't need to send data. I just turn it off. Send the request. Okay. Post with ID of 2 deleted successfully. You can see it here. So if I get all the posts now, let me send the request to get all the posts. Okay, here we have it. You can see now we have only 2 posts. The one with ID of 3 has been deleted. Okay, you can see that our API is working as expected, guys. We have deployed it to the live server and added Cron Job. The Cron Job will actually remove this limitation. It means that every 14 minutes, a request will be made to our API to keep it awake instead of spinning down. So instead of spinning down, every 14 minutes, that cron job will run and our app will be running without going to sleep. If you want to upgrade, you can upgrade to remove that limitation, guys. Okay, but for our tutorial and our course, I think the free version is okay for us for testing. You can actually copy this URL and send it to people that you want to test your API. They can test it, okay? When you implement authentication, you can limit the people you want to actually access your server, but now it is going to be open. All right. I hope you can be able to create a basic cron job to add to your application to perform different tasks. Hello viewers, I discovered that our cron job is not running because we use this condition. We say that if the process.env.node environment is equals to production, that is when the job is going to run. But now the node environment is actually undefined. For this node environment to change into production, we need to add it in the render environment variable. Okay. If I go to the cron job function where we define it, remember we are accessing this render URL here. We also need to add this render URL to the render environment variable. So let's go to the render server. I open the browser. Okay, this is our application blog post API. It has been over 7 hours we deploy it, but I discovered that the cron job is not actually running, guys. So we need to click on this our application. So you can see the last deploy message added cron job, but it is not actually running. So we need to go to environment. Make sure you select the blog post API. Then you go to environment. We need to add environment variable. As you can see it here, we don't have any environment variable. We need to add 2 environment variable. I'm going to click add and select new variable. Let me go back to our application environment variable. We need to add these 2 variables, guys. So let me just copy it, then go back to the server. So I'm going to paste it here. Just paste it like this. Okay, this is actually the base URL. This URL that I added here is this our server URL. You can just copy it here and paste it here. Okay, that is the same thing, just like this. Then we need to change the node environment to production. So I need to change this one to production instead of development. This production like this. Then you need to click save, rebuild, and deploy. Okay, updated environment variable for this service triggering a deploy. After 40 minutes, this cron job is going to run because we have already set the node environment to production. We have already set the node environment to production and also the render URL, which we require in development, but now we have added it in production. All right, we have added the variables in production, and that is how to add environment variable, guys. All right. After 15 minutes, we are going to check the log to see if our cron is running. Hello guys, I've waited for over 15 minutes after we updated our environment variable and redeploy our application. You can see our application now. The last deploy is 19 minutes. Okay, so let me just click on it now. We need to check if the cron job is running. Okay, so you need to click on logs. We have it running, guys. Cron job executed successfully. That is the message coming from the cron job. You can see we make a request to the home route, okay, where we are sending this dummy data. You can see the data is actually coming from the server, and this cron job was executed automatically after 14 minutes. Every 14 minutes, this cron job will be executed because the server need to go to sleep in 15 minutes time. As a result, we need to make a request earlier before the server go to sleep. Okay, that is before our service go to sleep, we need to make the request 1 minute earlier. Okay, that is exactly what we are doing. It simply means that every 14 minutes, this cron job will be executed in order to keep our server alive and also keep it awake. All right, if I go to Postman now and make a request to get all the posts, I have added more posts for testing. Let me send a get request to see if we are going to get all the posts. I send the request. Okay, we have our posts, guys. We are now getting all the posts and our server is now live. You can perform all the CRUD operation we have already discussed with our post, and it is coming from the database. It simply means that our server is live and this data is coming from the database. It is not going to be in sleep mode again. Anytime you make a request to this URL, you can get your post, update your post, and delete your post. All right. I hope this cron job will help you to perform a lot of tasks, guys, especially if you are using the free types of render service. The cron job will actually help you. That is what I wanted to show you in this video, guys. Thank you for watching.